Welcome to solverfy.
I'm given a cosine function, asked to find period, amplitude, and phase shift, and then to graph it. Before I pull out any of that important information, I'm going to rewrite the function. I'm going to factor this 2 out because that's the frequency, and it needs to come out of parentheses before I pull out that important information. Okay? Factoring 2 out means dividing by 2. You might also think about times a half. Sometimes with fractions that can be a little confusing, but this is going to be the function I'm using to pull that information out. The period of this function is 2 pi over the frequency, over 2. So the period is just 1 pi. Okay. The amplitude is the number in front of the function. So the amplitude is just 3. The phase shift, I'm going to start this graph at negative pi over 4. So I'm going to start at negative pi over 4, and I'm going to stop, one period will stop me at negative pi over 4 plus pi, because that's what the period of this function is. So I'm going to stop at 3 pi over 4. I also have this negative in front, so I know I'm going to have to reflect this curve. Okay, so let's get set up. I'm starting at negative pi over 4. I'm stopping at 3 pi over 4. Halfway between those 2 points, let's say negative 1/4 and 3/4 is 2/4 times a half is going to give me pi over 2, right? Let me try that one more time. So let's say I have a negative 1/4 plus 3/4. That's 2/4 times a half, pardon me, that is 2 pi over 8 or pi over 4. Okay, so halfway between those is 0. That's nice. And one more time, 1/4 plus 3/4 is 4/4 times a half is 4 over 8, so that's pi over 2. I'm just going to move this one over a little bit. This doesn't look too symmetric, so let me pull him over. That's a little bit better, not great. Because I want these points to be equidistant. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay, so my amplitude is 3. So I'm going to come up to 3, and I'm going to go down to negative 3. It's a cosine curve. Normally, cosine would start at its highest point. In this case, it's going to start at its lowest point because of that reflection. It's going to go the middle. It's going to go up high, come back to the middle, and come on down. And there's your curve. If you're confused about what's going on here, this is just finding midpoints, right? So you want to add the endpoints and then divide by 2. And you can see I made a mistake when I first did it, so go slow. If you have to write the fractions on the side, that's totally fine. But there's your curve.